great. Costa Rica, fabulous. North Carolina, and if you want to share one word about how you're feeling today, we got some people feeling good. There's some sunshine in Minnesota. That means it must be beautiful everywhere. We're very excited about our special guest today that we cannot wait to introduce, but I see her smiling face already. Alua is here with us, Alua Arthur, and we'll tell you more about her soon, but we're gonna have a really nice time together. Hello, anyone who's still in Paris. In this case, it's Bridget. Great to see you again. Hi, Janet in Redondo. Oh, rainy in Oregon. I guess the sunshine in Minnesota did not spread across the entire continent. Want some of that Minnesota sun. And happy Earth Day, everyone, as well. As you're just joining us, just happy Earth Day. It's good to be part of this broader home that we all share, let alone this mini home that we've created here on these doses of togetherness. So I think with that, we have people in the meeting, and we might as well get started for this fabulous day we have together. Again, I'm on my second attempt, both welcoming you and moderating the technology. So here I go. I succeeded yesterday or Monday, so we'll see if it happens again with that magic that you brought me. So I am Brad Wolf. Do you guys see me now? Okay, fabulous. And yes, welcome to your dose of togetherness in the face of the illness that we're experiencing across the world, the isolation, anxiety, the loss of life. This is a really important place where we can be together in community. And I am the executive director and founder of Reimagine. It's a nonprofit organization that sparks community experiences like this one that empower individuals, families, and entire communities to face the hardest parts of our existence, including illness and death, while inspiring people to celebrate life and one another. And on behalf of all of us at Reimagine, and also on behalf of our incredible partners at the Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley, who helped spark these initiatives, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to this dose of togetherness. We are here for a special dose, talking about something that I think we've all been facing, but the theme of today is embracing the unknown. So that's what we're up to. Let me see if I can reshare my screen. Oopsies. Okay, I'm having my first technical difficulties, but I'm going to be on this when I have my amazing colleague here, Zubin, who's been doing this and who's trying to get me to live on my own.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Zubin.
Are you sharing right now? Share. Pick.
Thanks for your patience today. As you can see, we've been a seamless operation heretofore, but now I'm kind of a Luddite, so.
They're all in my computer.
Okay, we have an expert joining me. He thought he could remove himself from his post, but it's not true. So with that in mind, yes, we've done this great welcome. Oh yeah, and there we have her, my incredible colleague Dara, who we've been meeting through this lovely face on the screen, and who will actually be guiding the very end of today's session. And as I have an appointment, you can see this day is Great Wednesday. So what she's telling us, thank you, Dara. You can use that chat button you've all been experiencing already. Thank you so much for saying hi and introducing where you're calling in from. You can close it with the pop-up close button if it's getting distracting. You can turn on and off your camera. We suggest keeping it on so we can see your smiling faces. And you'll have your mic off during this portion of the program. But at the end, when we move into breakout groups, which are really the highlight, please unmute yourself. And if you're calling in, which you might want to do if you are experiencing either technical problems, there's a dial-in number on the invite, or if you have to and you're calling in, then you can push *6 once you get to the breakouts to unmute yourself. So that is Zoom, and of course that's not why we're here. Zoom is just the medium. Why we're really here today is to be with this incredible woman, Alua Arthur, who's going to lead us as per usual in the beginning phases of our journey, thinking about grounding and then inspiration. And Alua Arthur, she is the founder of Going with Grace, an incredible organization that helps us explore life and death and helps people ask the question, what must I do to be at peace with myself, to live presently and die peacefully? What do we do now to make that happen? And Alua is not only a death doula, she's an attorney, and she is also an incredible speaker that's spoken all across the world. And we are very grateful to have her here with us today. So with that in mind, I'm going to turn it over to Alua.
Thank you, Brad. You make me feel so squishy this morning. I'm in Los Angeles. It's been an interesting few days, weeks for all of us, for sure. As Brad mentioned, I'm a death doula, which means that I get to sit with people close to the end of life. And one thing that I keep noticing over and over again is how much this mirrors the end of life experience. Just yesterday, I noticed that I've taken off my nails. I normally have like really pretty, colorful acrylic nails on. Those are gone because can't get them done. Most of my rings are gone because I'm washing my hands so much. You know, I have this long lock that's normally wrapped, but I haven't been able to get it rewrapped, so I took that out. Like, there's just a stripping down that's occurring externally, which is also mirroring the stripping down that's happening internally. Inside, I'm also only making space and time for those things that feel most pressing or have the most value to me. And this, I mean, every time I think about it, it looks so much like what people experience closer to the end of life, where everything just slowly starts to strip down. And we're all in that process too. And so I encourage you all to spend a little bit of time thinking about how your stripping down might be looking like the end of life experience, if you are experiencing a stripping down at all. But today we're not talking about that. We're talking about embracing the unknown. Since I sit with people close to the end of life, they are right there on the precipice of the great big unknown. Yeah. One of the great fears at the end of life is what happens, if anything, after we die, because nobody really knows. Even those that have been somewhere close, they still come back and they say what they saw, but nobody who's ever been all the way has ever come all the way back to tell us what happened. So it remains a huge mystery for all of us. What I want to share with you today is just a few things that I've learned, some of the exercises that I work with people when they're getting close to the end of life on, to support them in embracing this big fat unknown. I don't know if you've noticed, so many of our emails and everything else begins with "in these uncertain times." Has anybody else noticed that? The email, everything, in these uncertain times, in these unexpected times. And I'm thinking, when has it ever been certain? It's always been unknown. Yet for some reason, we've grounded ourselves in this fake feeling of we've already got this and we already know what it is that tomorrow's going to bring. Well, every day that we've been alive has been a moment of uncertainty. Every moment we've been alive has been a moment of the unknown. We're already masters at navigating the unknown just by virtue of being human, because a part of the human condition is to sit with the unknowingness. We don't know whether or not we're going to take another breath. We don't know what the next hour will bring. We don't know what the next week will bring. And most definitely, as we're in this space right now with COVID-19 and this global pandemic, we don't know how much longer we're going to be in this. We don't know what new restrictions will be happening tomorrow. We don't know even how fast anything's mutating. We're just sitting with what we know, and what we know is a very, very present moment. A lot of the work that I do with people at the end of life has to do with grounding and bringing them right back into the present. So before we go into the meditation, which is going to be a grounding meditation, I'm going to share some of the 5 pillars of embracing the unknown that I've noticed with working with people at the end of life. And I hope it supports you in some way. We also have a resource that they're going to send out afterward. It's a 10-page PDF that includes a lot of questions. It includes these 5 pillars, some things that you can work with to see how you can work with navigating the unknown on your own. So to start with, one of the first real things to consider when embracing the unknown is to look at where we are trying to control something or where we are in trust. Control is something that happens outside of us that we try to hold on to, that we try to grab real tight. You know, that experience when you're squeezing your hand so tight and we're trying to hold on to everything, as opposed to just letting it go and allowing whatever it is that's going to come to come. That's the difference between trust and control. The control being the holding tight, the gripping, and the trust being the releasing and allowing what's going to come to come. That's kind of the most basic component of embracing the unknown, is allowing trust to be the primary moving principle rather than control when we're trying to hold on to those things. The first real pillar in embracing the unknown is experiencing your experience. Every time I think of that term, like we're using the same word twice, but it means different things on both ends. The first being taking it all in. What is the experience that I'm having? And the next one being in it also. So being both the observer and the participant, experiencing whatever it is that I'm experiencing down here without judgment, not good or bad, right or wrong, but what is the actual experience that I'm having and paying attention to that experience. So being both the observer and the participant in the experience. That means that we have to see where our resistance might be to any part of the experience. What is it that we're resisting in any element of it? Where are we placing judgment? What are we considering as good? What is bad? What is wrong? What is not okay? What is not enough? How are we avoiding the experience itself? Or can we just be with whatever it is that's occurring? Experiencing the experience, being both the observer and the participant in the experience. One of the next major elements of embracing the unknown is acknowledging the fear, acknowledging the root of the fear. A lot of times, most of our fears have to do with a fear of death when we start really paying very, very close attention. So much of our fear is directly related to a fear of death. And that's, I think it's an unpopular opinion, but it's one that I hold very true, and one that my dear friend, Stephen Levine, also holds true. I don't actually know him. He died a few years ago, but I feel like he's a friend because he speaks such truth. I, yesterday, again, picked up his book, A Year to Live. And if you haven't, this is a fantastic book to help us all work with embracing the unknown and living as though every day might be our last, truly. In his book, he also definitely talks about how every fear is a veiled fear of death. And so a great way to work with navigating and trying to experience and embrace the unknown is to look at what the root of your fear is. And if it is, in fact, a fear of death, working through what the sticking point is, working with what that rub is. Another important part in embracing the unknown is to find your feet. This is where the practice of presence becomes really, really great. Finding your feet is an exercise in adaptability, and adaptability is the single most useful trait I found in people that are getting close to the end of life that makes the experience a little bit more gentle. That is recognizing, assessing the current experience without judgment again, but just assessing what it is that's going on, doing our best to detach from the emotional part of it, and then moving ourselves into the current space. So this is what used to be. This is how I feel about it, but I get to detach from it. Let's look at it objectively and let's arrive in the current experience. And a way to do that is by finding our feet, by grounding ourselves in what currently is so that we can arrive there. That says, I am here. I have arrived here, not there, not where I wanted to be or where I used to be, but now I am here. This is something that we do effortlessly all the time. We do it when there are new babies. We've certainly done it through this pandemic. We're all at home now, whereas a month ago we weren't. We experience it when we go through a breakup, which, by the way, I don't suggest it during a pandemic. Don't do it, it's terrible. When we go through a breakup, when our car tire dies, when we wanted to work out and the internet isn't working. Whenever there is an experience that we're having that is other than the one that we wanted, we're practicing adaptability all the time. And we get to strengthen it a lot while we're living, so that when we're getting close to the end of life, it comes pretty effortlessly to us. Granted, the stakes are much higher at that time, but if we strengthen that muscle now, it's going to be so much easier for us to carry out when the end of life actually comes. It's a great tool to use in embracing the unknown. It's to constantly shift into adaptability. Now I am here. Now I am here. I often use the word today as the beginning portion of sentences to help us ground in the present. Like, today I have exercised. Today I am at home. Today I will go for a walk. But lately I'm finding it even more useful to break it down even further and start saying, this hour I will, because what I thought the whole day was going to look like does not look like that anymore. So for this hour, I'm here with y'all. I don't know about the next hour, but for now we're doing this. And after this, we're going to do something else. So now I am here. For this hour, I am here. And we'll see what happens next hour. Who knows? I might be like screaming and pulling my hair out, going stir crazy again. That was yesterday. Today we're better. Another beautiful element in embracing the unknown is to control what we can control. Because I cannot control those folks that are running around outside not wearing masks in big groups. I can't control them. I can't control what the news is saying. I can't control whether or not I want to go to Paris, which, by the way, I was supposed to be on a flight tomorrow for it. I'm not. Clearly, I'm here in Los Angeles. We can't control any of those things. So focusing our minds, focusing our attention on what we actually can control. Today, I can work out. Today, I can be here with you. When we can control it, we can do some end-of-life planning. In the end-of-life experience, there's so much that feels like it's completely out of control, because realistically it is. But when we can focus on the minute things that we can control, it makes it a little easier to shift into the unknown, to shift into being present with what is. And so at the root of it all is the idea of accepting what is right now without judgment, arriving at this current place and controlling the little bit that we can, recognizing that underneath it all needs to lie a big trust, a trust that whatever is happening right now is exactly what it is that's going to happen, and we can't do anything else with it. And so ways that I'll shift into it and be okay with it. I wanted to share a quote from a book that I'm currently reading also, called All That Love by Bell Hooks. Love her, love it. I'm reading this because, as I mentioned, I'm in the middle of another breakup, and it's nice to always just bring myself right back to the root of it all, which is love. It's the reason why, I'm here. We're born in love, we live in love, we die in love. And at the end of this book, there's a quote that really hit me the other day, and I want to share it with you. It's very, very brief. Okay, you ready? Oops. Oh, shoot. All right, there it is. Okay. Accepting death with love means we embrace the reality of the unknown, of experiences over which we have no control. Love empowers us to surrender, surrender being the opposite of control. We do not need to have endless anxiety or worry about whether we will fulfill our goals or plans. Death is always there to remind us that our plans are transitory. By learning to love, we learn to accept change and the unknown. Without change, we cannot grow, and our will to grow in spirit and truth is how we stand before life and death, ready to choose, to always choose life. I love this one so much. I love the book overall, but I also really, really enjoy that quote because it just gets to the root of acknowledging that there is nothing we can control, and our death is amongst those things. And the best that we can do is be present with what is, and what is always present is love. So I wanted to do the meditation with you all. I understand that that's kind of how this goes, yes? Are you okay? You want to do meditation? Okay. You're nodding. I love it. All right. So we're going to do a quick one. And this one, again, is really about grounding in the present because we don't got anything else. Like everything else is merely an illusion. No past, no present, no past, no future, just the present. And so this meditation is one that brings us fully into the present moment, that works with the pillars of embracing the unknown, particularly finding your feet, experiencing your experience, and controlling what you can, with trust being the foundation that holds it all together. Okay, so if you are ready, my suggestion to you is that you get pretty comfortable and you place your feet on the floor if you can. And getting fully comfortable with wherever you're sitting. And we want to start just by noticing the breath. So we're not doing anything to change it really, just placing your attention on it. Noticing all your natural inhales and exhales. Noticing as your breath enters your body. Noticing it as it leaves your body. Taking each breath as the first and each exhale as the last. Now rest in the space in between your breaths when you get to the bottom of the breath. Again, noticing each inhale as your very first and each exhale as your last. You are here. Now you are here. We're going to walk through the senses as a chance to ground in the present and to practice experiencing our experience without judgment. We're going to walk through all the experiences of the senses. This is a completely neutral experience. There's nothing to control. All we're doing merely is experiencing it. Again, paying attention to your natural breathing pattern. Don't try to control it. Just breathe as you normally will. I want you to start by tuning into what you can hear. Pay attention to what you can hear around you naturally. Aside from the sound of my voice, maybe the birds chirping outside my window. You can hear traffic. You hear people talking, any nature sounds. Without judging them as bad or strong or heavy or annoying or pleasant. Just experience it, taking it in and out. Now see if you can focus a little bit and hear the space in between sounds. Can you hear your heartbeat at all? Can you feel it? If you're having any difficulty, just bring your attention back to your breath. And again, back to your ears. What is the experience of the ears? And your attention again to your breath. Now let's go to an experience of smell. What smells can you pick up in your environment? Since we live in these environments, we probably are not so keen on the smells that are there. So if you're struggling, I suggest you bring your hands up to your nose. And take a big inhale and see if you can pick up any additional scent. Again, without judgment. This isn't about good. Was there anything you can smell? The sense of smell has been in the news quite a bit lately. And so it's useful for us to pay attention to the things that we actually can smell. Might be useful here to take in a deep breath or two. And then bring your attention back to your normal breathing. I want you to shift to an experience of sight. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. Now take a moment to look around your space. Take notice of the colors that you can bring in. Notice where light is, where it's not. If there are any shadows. Notice textures. Notice brightness, lightness, darkness. Are the colors warm? Are the colors cold? Is there a prevalence of any one color? Are there any colors missing? Notice what you can see easily and what you have to focus your attention on to see, what you might have to narrow your eyes to see. If there's anything in particular you really enjoy looking at, I suggest you take a moment and stop there and drink it in while observing a very normal breathing pattern. Experiencing sight. You can close your eyes again. I'll invite you to experience taste. This might be strange for you if you haven't eaten or drinking anything lately. But you'll notice that there is a slight taste in your mouth at all times. Again, no judgment. You can focus on the sensations of the mouth if you'd like. Notice how your tongue feels resting between your teeth. What taste may remain from any previous meals or anything you drank recently. Feel the texture of the saliva in your mouth. You can even run your tongue over your teeth, move it along the inside of your mouth. If you can, make your mouth produce any wetness. What's your experience there? Again, don't judge it, just experience it, just observe the experience itself. So many taste buds in there. Lastly, I want to invite you into the experience of touch. I'm going to ask you to place your hands on your thighs. What can you feel under your hands? You may feel your clothing, the roughness of the clothing. You may feel the warmth of your hands. You may feel warmth of bare skin. You may feel cool hands, softness of cotton, of lycra, of a blanket. Now moving away from the hands, think about where the body is sitting and notice the edges of the couch or the chair. Notice where your back is pressed up against something, if at all, or if not, notice the air behind it. Picking up the weight of your body on whatever you're sitting on. And now I'm going to have you bring your attention to your feet. Finding your feet as a useful element in embracing the unknown. Now your feet are making contact with the ground, or if they're not, they're just floating in space. Feel the bottoms of them. If you're wearing any shoes or socks, just notice your feet inside the shoes or socks. Bring awareness to all the subtleties in there. Feel things between your toes. Feel the corners of your feet. Feel the ball of your foot. The pinky toe, the big toe. If you can, stretch the toes out as far as they'll go and grab some of the ground with it, feeling all the points of contact. You are here. This is an ordinary moment. It's a very ordinary moment. In this space, everything is known. Now you've trusted your senses to bring in information, sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. You scan for the places in your body where it feels tense and where it's relaxed. And as you scan your body, think about all the natural functions that you allow the body to carry out for you. Your eyes blink, oil produced in your face, produce saliva, moving down to your chest. Your heart beats. How many times over the course of this have you trusted your heart to beat naturally? Bring your attention to your lungs. There's so much focus on the lungs lately, so bring a moment of gratitude for your lungs. Trusting your lungs to bring in air. Down to your arms, your elbows, which move. The muscles and tendons, which allow you to use your hands to grasp and release, to create sensation. Moving to your stomach, any movement or sensations in your stomach. How the stomach creates enzymes to break down the food that you eat. And moving down to your legs, all the muscles used in there as well. Your knees, your kneecaps, your shins, your calves, and all the way right back down to your feet. Finding your feet again. Now you are here. I want to take a moment to remind you that you trust in the body inherently as your most intimate companion. You were born into this body and you will die in this body in an ordinary moment just like this one. Be as intimate with this moment, this present moment where you are and the body as you're able to. In this moment, everything is known. You are here. Again, notice a natural inhale and exhale as your breath enters and leaves the body. Take each breath like it's your first and each exhale like it's your last. Resting in the space in between the breaths. You're here. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. You're here with me and your computer with a whole bunch of strangers also on their computers. We're here. In this moment, everything is known. In this moment, everything is known. In this moment, nothing is unexpected. We've been doing this. We embrace the unknown naturally. Thank you.
Thank you, Alua.